Alrighty, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces today. I am live streaming this, so the timestamps will be up after I am done. I usually spend about 30 minutes on each sign, or less, or 20 minutes, I'd say. And I'll be looking at what's been going on with you, what's shifting, what's coming in, especially in love, and any advice how to deal with it. Plus, I will pull a card for Aries through Pisces for each one of you, so you can see what might be shifting or changing in your connection as well. Hello, Miss Lori, how you doing? All right, so I am going to start Cancer first at 1. I'm going to get right into it because I do have membership after this. If you are in there, it's already up. All right. Let's go. Hello, hello. Hi, guys. Nice to see you guys in here. I have membership up as well, too. All right. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. So what have you been going through? What have you been dealing with right now? And then what's shifting, especially in your love? And then I will look at Aries through Pisces if you have somebody on your mind. I will do that for you today to see if anything's been shifting with that as well. All right, so Cancer. All right, 3 of Wands. This is I think I just saw your comment, FG, was undertow. It's where this is the undertow energy of what's going on in your life. Thank you for that. And it's showing progress, and the time is coming. This is going to be a good season for you, the next month or so, right? It's like expansion and growth, and you may have been going through that for quite some time. You can feel something coming. You've made some plans. You're waiting on the right move, or you're already in the midst of it. You've been going through some changes and you have been seeing some growth, but you're still waiting for that big moment, that big time, that big change that really says I'm here, or I got what I want, or I'm getting what I want. So I am seeing growth though, and connections. And this can say that maybe you've had a lot of new people come into your life. You've had new opportunities. You've been growing yourself. You've been expanding. You've been being seen by more people. You seem to be growing basically and making progress in your life. So if you can't see it, right, sometimes we can get caught up in the thorns all around us and the pressures of life and our fears. Basically, we can't see that the seeds are growing and the plants are still growing, even though there's a bunch of weeds in the way, right? Kind of energy. So for some of you, this could be just a reminder that what you have planted is growing. Look at the Chariot card. This is your energy. So you've been through this long period, and it seems like you're ready actually to get up and go. I will say that the energy that you've been through has pushed you through some obstacles that maybe you've never dealt with before, right? Or you've been still confronting things that you thought maybe you should have gave up a long time ago. But something keeps you going and something keeps pushing you forward. And this is, if you take a look at yourself right now and you look at the heaviness that maybe you've also dealt with and had to get through, give yourself a moment to take a look at the wins and the moments that you really showed up for yourself, because you've changed. And this is where things are going to start picking up. I am getting this energy here where something is that you're so close to. Somebody could even be returning finally that you've been waiting for, or you're finally returning back to yourself, but you're noticing that you feel a lot different than you have before or have felt in a long time. All right, so there's been a lot to carry. I can see that the Chariot card here, you've had to battle some battles, and where there's a will, there's a way, and Cancer finds its way through it. And you're coming out on the other side a victor. So what is shifting right now for you? All right. And I'm seeing the 9 of Swords. All right. So a lot of you really carrying some heavy mental weight, worrying about the people around you, worrying about what other people think. Maybe some of this Jupiter energy that's in your sign can expand some of our deepest fears about a situation, but you're stepping out of this. And now you're finally realizing that some things just aren't worth the stress anymore. It's like, I've already been down that road, and and if I'm dealing with another obstacle, or if I feel like I'm still waiting on somebody, I'm starting to trust a little bit more, and I'm not losing sleep over things. So this could be one of the biggest things you've had to learn throughout this expansion, was that some things are just not worth my mental stability. Some things are not worth my time or my rest or my sleep. And you could be confronting a lot of your own guilt or shame or traumas that have been coming up for you, and people projecting onto you. But you're starting to be able to notice maybe these things, and notice when they are just your own thoughts and they're not other people's true thoughts about you. So that could be one of the biggest things that you've had to learn during this big shift, is that not everything you think is true, all right, what others are thinking of you. So what's coming in? And I'm seeing, look at this, the Lovers card. All right, so we do have Venus in your sign and Jupiter also in your sign right now. So this is enhancing your ability to attract love and opportunities and being recognized, and people drawn to your energy with more force than ever with this energy, because you're giving off a good vibe. You've released something, like I said in the beginning here, you may be still, kind of waiting or concerned, and some things might still come up, but you've changed a lot and released a lot of worries. That is, your aura is more attractive, and you're in more confidence, and you're attracting people more in alignment with you. All right, so this is going to be a really good opportunity for my Cancers right now, to develop relationships deeper, to connect with new people and give it a shot, open up to the people around you, and with the Three of Wands, going places and being aware of the people that you're drawn to you. All right, it just seems like it's going to be pronounced right now. So if you're missing the opportunity and you're still stressing about things that you should, this could be your message too, that some of the things that you're worried about are really holding you back, because this is a very good time for you to connect with people who truly are drawn to you and truly want something from this connection more than just superficial. All right, so in love specifically, we are seeing the Lovers card, but we're seeing the Emperor card. So you are calling in, some of you can go back to the whole divine, masculine type of energy here. We can see that with these cards. I love the way I'm kind of doing like a Vanna White here, where it's like, finally, my divine is stepping up, all right? And finally, somebody here who's on a mission, or somebody here who's attracted to the same thing I am, wants more than just the moment, is very disciplined, and somebody who wants to be, play a part in your life, play a responsible part in your life, and initiating, which is most important, I feel like here. All right, it's like, maybe you're the one that's been holding it all together. All right, but there's something about your energy where you're drawing somebody in who maybe has had their eye on you and is trying to keep it together, and wanting to play it right, make the right move, step up. That's sometimes the Emperor card. It's like, I want to play my cards right. I'm not going to just jump in like a fool. I'm not going to just, go with the flow. I really want to make my point or make my mark. So somebody kind of planning for the right move to make towards you. And we'll look at Aries through Pisces and see, who may be stepping up. It will be clear who's going to be the one to actually step up and initiate with that Emperor card there. I am seeing Aries, a lot of Aries energy coming through that is challenging you to also step up and, create boundaries yourself and speak your truth and be seen. So this is also for you, not just your person. You've been trying to keep it together, and, this is testing the waters now, testing your new confidence and your new skills, I guess, in relationships. All right, so let's see how to deal with this energy right now. Any advice for you? And I'm seeing the Knight of Cups for you. All right, this is opening up your heart and, allowing yourself to express yourself and be vulnerable. Let yourself be seen, and definitely not shrinking, especially if I look at the Emperor as your energy as well. It's saying, you have a voice. Don't be afraid to be too emotional. Sometimes we say, maybe during this energy, you might want to pay attention to your emotional reactions because we can go overboard. But at this point here, this energy is telling you to be seen right now, and don't apologize for how much you feel or how deeply you love somebody or how deeply you really want to connect with somebody. This isn't about being small anymore for you. This is about being big, all right? This is about going big or going home. And if you're trying to connect with an emperor, they're going to appreciate that. They're not going to push you away, all right? So I do see there could be also some information, some truth, and some things being said that might come up, especially if somebody feels like they owe you something or owe you an apology, because I am seeing the regret, and somebody may be returning back into your life to tell you that they missed the mark, or they might say something that just eases you. Maybe you spent a lot of time thinking something was one way, or you thought something happened because of this. And again, going back to what does this person think of me, and you're probably thinking the worst, and somebody may be coming back in to say, no, you had it all wrong, Cancer. That's not what was going on. I was dealing with my own shit, but maybe you saw that as a reflection to you doing something wrong, or you have saying something wrong. So this is a good energy too for that conversation with somebody, even if it goes nowhere. It could be a conversation where it does deepen your own, awareness of yourself and how deeply it is okay for you to love, and that you did affect somebody in the past and it weighed on them. And so somebody really has had time to think about how much you really did give to them, right? So that can show up as well too. So with that being said, we are seeing that you are being pushed forward, all right? You are being pushed to move forward always. And the energy is showing growth in your situation. Now, this is showing possibility of new romance and love showing up in your life. Even if you're single, I'm telling you, it's a good opportunity for my Cancers to really take charge of their life and decide where you're going to go and where you're going to venture off to. And maybe you're the one that's being bold, and you're the one that's speaking your truth to somebody and telling them how you feel, and with authority, right? There's no hiding behind any mask anymore. This is telling somebody how deeply you feel about them. And you know what? Who cares about rejection anymore, right, guys? We got to get past that. All right. It's like everybody's so afraid of rejection anymore that nobody will even make the move. So we got Cancer energy showing up for you, Pisces and Scorpio showing up for you. You have Gemini and you have Aries showing up for you. But think about the sign on your mind, and we also see possibility of attracting new love. So some of these signs here can also be new love coming into your life. Let's see, Aries through Pisces. All right. So if there's been any silence or you're blocked from somebody, all right, this is where I am feeling that there could be a moment of break in the silence and somebody unblocking, or you unblocking somebody. All right, somebody does want to get something off their chest, right? So there is an energy of that, but also somebody who's been holding back something that they want to say to you. So there could be this, during this energy, somebody finally speaks their truth about their feelings to you, right? So that can be something you don't expect or something you've been waiting on. It doesn't matter. So let's see Aries energy. It's about to pay off, all right? So you're in that zone here where, do I keep going or do I move on? What do I do? It can be sort of a nine of a wand sometimes. It can even be the Seven of Pentacles. It can feel like I'm waiting and I've been putting a lot of energy in this, and now I'm starting to even question things, right? But it's saying it's about to pay off with you and an Aries, all right? So whatever you're going through, whatever challenges you're going through, again, the Three of Wands is your card here for this time period, where it's showing here it's coming in for you. So don't give up, especially when it comes to an Aries. Now, Taurus, I'm seeing incoming communication. Remember, a lot of this can be new people that you're connecting to. It does not matter the connection. It's just showing that I want to talk to you. I want to connect with you. I want to see what you're up to, right? So Taurus, letting you know that they exist and that they're here and they want to open up the lines of communication. All right, so Gemini, we are seeing some falsity come to light. All right, so this is where with a Gemini, there could be some hidden truth coming out, something they've been hiding. They've been playing it cool. They've been acting, you know, one way, but really feeling another. And sometimes you don't know how to read them, right? So it looks like you may get some clue or sign about what's been hidden when it comes to a Gemini. Cancer, passion, desire, and fantasy. This is the time it's on for you. So I am seeing you have a lot of chances for some really good dates, connecting with somebody that you feel strong chemistry with. But this is your passion, your desire, and fantasy is coming to light. It's being highlighted right now. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do with it. But it looks like you and Cancer getting it on. All right. And we have Leo. All right, so something changing with the Leo. You know, they might be changing things in their life, the direction with their life. There's an open door here, though. It's like we're trying to make it work. They do feel a pull, a call. You both do for something to change, right? So you may notice that you're trying to work on things or, you know, just trying to get through things with a Leo. Virgo, still kind of feeling distant from you. You know, they're dealing with their own hardships, maybe dealing with their own insecurities around what to do next. So it's kind of frozen in time here. I feel like not much is changing here, where you might still deal with your Virgo, but they're just always kind of cautious about everything they do, always afraid everything's going to turn out negative, right? So you are still dealing with that kind of energy when it comes to a Virgo. Libra, all about you. All right. So I'm seeing the emotional depth increase between you and a Libra. Feels like you guys are on the same page when it comes to emotional communication or the way you feel about things, right? So you may start to deepen your connection with your Libra. And Scorpio, you and Scorpio definitely feeling a connection. Trust your intuition when it comes to a Scorpio. They may be going through their own little awakening or epiphany about a situation, or they're starting to clear their mind, see things differently in general. And this is why maybe you guys are coming into alignment. Sagittarius, hot and cold behavior still with the Sagittarius. You know, it's one of these where, you know, it's indifferent. You got to decide, you know, do you want to continue dealing with the hot and cold behavior? Or do you, maybe you'll try and figure it out, or you'll just pay less attention to it because you deserve more. You deserve to be seen. But I am seeing that there's still hot and cold behavior going on between you and a Sagittarius. So you may have moments where it seems like things are going good and then uncertainty. That does not mean that that's the outcome. Capricorn. All right. So look closely what's going on. What's your biggest fear? Because that's what you're thinking on the outside. It's reflecting back to you. So if you're thinking something's wrong in the situation, it's going to be wrong because somewhere inside of you, you believe you did something wrong, or you believe that there's something wrong with you. All right. So once you realize what that is that's reflecting back to you with a Capricorn, you may start to understand that as soon as you change that assumption about yourself, you may notice that the people around you, or your Capricorn, looks at you differently. All right. Aquarius wants to kiss you. So it looks like you could have a new Aquarius, or Aquarius that just can't get enough of you. All right. So I am seeing things getting hot and spicy with you and Aquarius. And Pisces, mesmerized by you. So you have a Pisces that has their eyes on you and you're looking good and they're drawn to you right now. So there's so much potential there with a Pisces. All right. That was Cancer. Now we got to get to Scorpio. Let me get a good shuffle. Before I timestamp it. So Scorpio. right, Scorpio, get your hats on. I'm going to do timestamp at 2020. All right, you are welcome. Was it bang on? I'm glad to hear that. Please comment in the comment section when it's done. That helps the video as well. I appreciate it. All right, Scorpio. Let's get a good shuffle here. Starting Scorpio at 2020, just so you can shake the cards up a bit. All right, Scorpio, let's get into it. What's been going on with you and what's shifting, what's coming, especially in love, and how to work with this, right? And then Aries through Pisces. So we'll see what's shifting also in the person that's on your mind. Remember, there always can be new love as well that's coming towards you. Look at the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So you're really on it more than you may realize it. Again, the undertow of what's going on is something emotional, something deep, something that, that's bringing you to light, needing to be seen. Who are you? A lot around relationships and the depth of relationships as well. Letting people see the real you, letting people connect with who you are. Maybe this is also, you've been, trying to see who really connects with you. Right? Who is, this has been a lot about your relationships for quite some time, especially during Taurus season. And, maybe kind of looking at yourself and trying to, see how you show up for others or how others show up for you, who really knows you deeply. All right, so big question here, but it's showing you growing more into your skin and becoming more comfortable with yourself right now. All right, a lot of things could have came up around the Scorpio full moon. Things that you couldn't really ignore about relationships or about, how you think other people see you too as well. But to me, it shows that you're coming out of this now. It looks like you're really becoming more in your power and being able to read people a lot easier. So I see the King of Pentacles. You've got a person already showing up in your energy, but something's been going on for quite some time, and it's wild that Scorpio and Taurus are showing up. And this is about, opposites, and you have the Emperor underneath that. So there's about where do I stand and where am I comfortable and where am I getting my needs met and where's things growing in my life. A lot about comfort, security, and stability and long-term relationships maybe have been weighing on you as well. It's like maybe now you're seeing what you really need in a relationship and speaking your truth, but it looks like, you're matching with somebody who's on the same page as you, or somebody coming into your life that is bringing that stability and that security into your life as well. So you may have been working really hard too. Maybe a lot of you focusing on being independent, focusing on your monies, focusing on your life. And, now it's time to loosen up and change things up a bit too, because I can see that if you get stuck in a rut for quite some time, you're going to get bored. You're going to get so bored, right? And, even though you've been taking some time to really build yourself up and grow and maybe even financially on your own, it's time that, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. I do feel like maybe that's being asked for you. You need to change your routine a little bit. You need to do something different and change something up, because you can become fixed too and stuck on your situations and become a part of the problem that you're trying to, eliminate, right? You start to live it and become it, and you get stuck there way too long. And it looks like now you are being asked to kind of shift from that. So let's see. What is shifting? And I am seeing the Queen of Swords, maybe some clarity here. And you're done kind of, I guess observing or looking or trying to see the truth about everything. And maybe now you're ready to make a move or declare some sort of new intention in your life. All right. I do see a lot of people around you. a lot of people around you, Scorpio. So, I mean, this is who's on your team, who really is on your team. And this goes deeper, like it hits, you know, a wound there. It hits something where it's like, I really am seeing things clearly now. So if you've got certain people around you that are still kind of showing up around you, then there's got to be something real there. All right. That's what that's telling me. All right. So you're now maybe even starting to communicate your needs more. You may find yourself communicating more clearly your needs. And as a Scorpio, it's funny because somebody triggered me with what they said the other day. And I was like, damn, that landed. Normally in the past, I would have just internalized it and been like, ooh, I took that sucker punch, right? And I would have internalized it and I would have, you know, accepted it. But except I did not. And I said something funny back, was like, you know, there definitely was truth in it, but it landed differently. But I was able to communicate how it affected me differently. And then we laughed about it. We ended up lighting things up and laughing about it. So that's the kind of shift. And when you're around real people or people that really care about you, you're able to do that. You're able to see who really does care about you and wants you around, other than for their needs getting met too, right? Because you want people to see you for who you really are. Now, you could be collecting some new people in your life. All right. And these people could have strong influence over who you meet next, where you go, especially when it comes to finances or comes to love. You know, I know a lot of you come here for love, but these people are bringing the right people into your life. And maybe you're just knowing or seeing now who's actually stepping up to the plate. And that could, all this is signifying that there's certain people around you that you can trust. And I'm getting, you know, of course, a Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo, but I'm also getting a Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, and water energy. So if some of you have these signs around you, maybe you already know that, you know what, we have challenges, but they're definitely on my side. All right. I definitely know we can work something out here. So what's coming in, and especially in love, look, you got a Queen of Pentacles and you have an Ace of Pentacles. What this is telling me, not only do I see a lot more people showing up, maybe new friendship, maybe a partnership. There could be a partnership when it comes to a new relationship. Right? You're seeing the King and Queen of Pentacles deepening and grounding in and taking something a little bit more seriously, especially with the new moon that just passed by too, right? We're seeing a seed was planted. All right. So whoever's meant to show up in your life right now, and who is real, looks as though it's going to be quite clear with who really is planting the seeds with you, who wants to grow with you, who do you want to grow with? And you're seeing these opportunities start to expand. Now, this could be a person that's bringing in another person that you end up being in a partnership with as well, too. You know, we are seeing a couple here. So you're maybe even meeting somebody that it turns into a couple, right? It could turn into that long term. And you're seeing possibly for some of you too, what's coming in is an opportunity maybe to move or a new home, or maybe you've decided that you need something different in your life. Maybe you are thinking about a relocation or a new job or a new way to make money. But back, you know, just even to relationships, it feels like your most important message right now is the ones that see you, the ones that are showing up for you, versus who is not being real, who is performing, is going to be this huge revelation, and about, you know, where you need the depth and intimacy in a relationship. So once this is revealing itself, you're able to actually grow and move forward in a relationship and start to build upon what you have. And it looks like, you know, the slower the better here, but also we're having a new plan and we're moving forward and we're knowing who we're taking with us is kind of what that's saying there as well. So how do you deal with this energy? The Nine of Swords, Cancer got the same thing, right? Stop sweating the small stuff. Stop sweating the stuff that comes up and you know it's an old version of yourself. You know, you've planted the seeds as well too. I've said this for Cancer. It just feels like there could be a lot of weeds trying to come through and things trying to suffocate the new version, the new things you want, and some of your fears, guilt, shame, whatever, things that keep you up at night, things that are bothering you, things that are old school, that why are they coming up for me again? Why am I worried about this? Why am I feeling like something's not going to turn out? All right. But also pay attention to who is stressing you out. Pay attention to what is going on in your head. Pay attention to what you are saying to yourself. What's this voice, as long as it's a good voice in your head? What's this voice saying about somebody? What's this voice telling you? And what are you trying to ignore? All right. So I'm also, this is too, it's like there's a wait in here. There's a waiting for people to prove themselves, when you already know. I feel like one of those, I feel like saying this because I've said this before. It's like, who gives a shit what people say? It's what they do. You can't change. If somebody tells you they're going to change, or you're waiting for somebody to, to prove themselves through their words, you're waiting for you're missing the step, you're missing the spot, you're missing whatever I'm trying to say there, but it's like they've already proven to you over and over and over and over again, or you've already recited something in your head over and over again, and it's the truth. What are you waiting for? What are you trying to figure out? So that's going to be, you already know type of answer. Why are you letting this bother you again? And why are you trying to give somebody else the benefit of the doubt again, or waiting for them to just tell you something differently just so you can try and believe it for a little bit longer when you know it's going to turn out the same way? It's here you got Taurus showing up right first out the gate. What's been going on for you? What's been happening is you're learning here how to ground yourself, and Taurus don't mess around. Taurus is like, show me the money. Show me the action, show me the proof, show me the truth, right? Don't tell me some wishy or some sweet nothings in my ear that don't turn into anything, right? I'm sick of the headache, right? So that's what I'm getting for you. And you have a fresh energy here you may have planted some seed on Saturday, or maybe just a couple days after, really grounding in on some security and some sense of stability. There's a new chapter beginning here for you. All right, so let's look at Aries through Pisces and see what to expect with each person. Lots of people. The cool ones will come through. The cool ones will always be there. The cool ones will self-reflect. The cool ones will go, The cool ones will go, okay, maybe we weren't playing fear, but, we still can get over this. You know what I mean? The ones that you don't want in your life are the ones that can't face what they've said or done, even if it's something small, even if you both did something. And let's just owe up to it, It's got to be two-sided. Let's see Aries through Pisces. All right, incoming messages. All right, so that's one thing. You can expect a lot of communication with different people. Remember, see through the bullshit. Trust your gut. You may hear something that you already knew, and that's big. So this can be something really good. You already knew it, so don't doubt it. It could be something you already knew, and you're just like, why did I do that? All right, but either way, you've got to learn to trust your gut a little bit more, and stop waiting for people to prove themselves to you. Aries, I see breaking the silence, possibly incoming message from an Aries. All right, if you've been blocked, or you just feel like the relationship is stuck on repeat, silent treatment. I don't know how to say what I want to say. I need to tell them something, or they need to speak up. It looks like you're going to have communication coming in with an Aries, a chance to talk about that. All right, Taurus. Look closely. You already have the answers within you. You've had a chance. that energy, Taurus energy coming in this past month, really reflecting back to you your biggest fears in relationships, you know. If you already know the truth about something, about a situation, or if you have a fear, it's you may be projecting on to your Taurus or vice versa. So you already have the answer when it comes to you and a Taurus, right? And if it's a fear, most likely it's one that stems from within, that you are projecting onto them. Gemini, take time to rest and relax. It seems like you've had some movement with a Gemini. Maybe it's like let things kind of settle, let's see where things go type of energy. Maybe we've already had some fallen out. Maybe we just need to give the conversations a little bit of a break. Whatever the reason is, let's just let something breathe is what I'm seeing here. But things may be starting to settle in with you guys. Cancer, I see healing and self-care. So there could be a break going on between you and a Cancer. This is a good time to realize, you know, how we really feel about each other and just kind of getting over something. Maybe they're getting over something. They'll be back around. Leo, I see fun, support, and friends, right? So maybe kind of a friend, a new friend coming in, or maybe you're just friends with a Leo, and that's a start, right? Some of you could be your friend zoned. Also, it could be just maybe we're meant to be friends or just friends. Or we need to start from friends again. However you want to look at it, it's a very strong friend. We have a friendship here, and it's not going anywhere. Virgo, I need a little bit of space. So they may pull away from you a little bit. They're overwhelmed with either what's going on in their world or the situation, and they don't have the answers for you yet. So they may back up a little bit before they come back in. Libra, I see justice. I see a decision being made with a Libra. So you'll get some sort of closure. You'll know where things are going, or you'll know whether or not you trust them. You know, you may finally get that resolution that you've been looking for. All right. You know, maybe they will own up, or if you both played a part, maybe it's time for both of you guys to call it as it is and find peace with the situation. Scorpio, expect changes. Now, I've got by your birthday here. So from now to your birthday, a lot of different energy, things changing. You know, you're changing. You're not going to be the same, you know, this by the time your birthday comes, especially. And knowing who you can trust as well. So you and another Scorpio, it is saying expect changes between the two of you, especially by your season. Sagittarius, teaching you a lesson. Yay. All right. So maybe you are learning something, or they're learning something through this connection with you. I see leveling up. So whether that means the two of you leveling up together, or you both just learning what you need to learn from one another and finally growing up, moving on from it. Either way, there's a lesson learned with a Sagittarius, or will be. Capricorn, I'm seeing messages come in with the Capricorn. Pay attention to the signs and synchronicities, you know, and divine clues. So this is another one, you know, too. So you'll know, you trust your gut. Aquarius, I see traveling to see you. Maybe you guys are going somewhere, traveling together, or this is a distant relationship forming between you and an Aquarius. And Pisces, it's about to pay off with a Pisces, so I wouldn't give up yet. It seems like all the hard work paying off, you guys making it through something, or you guys finally at the right place, the right time. All right, my Scorpios. All right, let me get a good shuffle before I get into Pisces. Just clearing the deck real quick, guys, before I put a timestamp for Pisces. Actually, let me do 39. All right, 39, 39. All right, we're going into Pisces here. 39. All right, Pisces. Pisces, what is shifting? What's been going on? What's coming in your life, love especially, and what to do with this energy, plus Aries through Pisces. All right, let's talk about Pisces now. All right, Pisces, you got kind of the same energy as Cancer had. It's been a long time for you guys. You guys are just now, I think, after so many years of all that Pisces energy, you're waiting. It's time. It's time. I've, got to figure out now who I am. I've had a lot of change happen, and I know I'm not the same as I used to be, and I'm ready for more, is what I'm getting here. You may have been rebuilding yourself a lot lately, and you just kind of patiently waiting for something to show up at your door, or, you've been working towards something for some time, even a relationship, and it's coming, it's there, you feel it. But there just seems to be a couple things that may be still coming together. So keep in mind that the undertow of your reading, what's really happening is you've planted a lot of seeds and you've worked really hard in the past here. That all that work is still going and growing. It just sometimes we get into this period where we know we've done everything we can, or we're doing what we can, and we keep making the right choices, but there's this energy of uncertainty at times, like, should I be doing more, or could I, which way do I go? Do I just wait? Do I just be? What do I do? And I am seeing here that sometimes you can get bogged down too by some fears, especially if anything does slow down. But this tells you that there's a lot of progress happening, and you have made a lot of progress in the past, whether you see it or not. And you're getting ready to reach that next milestone in your life. What's underneath that? I see the Queen of Swords. There could be a Queen of Swords coming your way, some air sign that's very influential in your life, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. But also it could be showing that maybe now you're starting to see a different perspective of yourself, and you're seeing a bigger picture. Your worldview is changing. Your view of what you expect for yourself or what you want for yourself might be changing. And I forgot to put Pisces banner on. All right, so Pisces, I'm sorry about that. Your view of yourself and what you want and what you expect for yourself is shifting too as well. So you may be seeing things, whereas maybe back in the day here, the past few years, you settled for, certain things that they looked good when you first saw them, and then they didn't pan out the way you wanted them to. But now you're starting to see things a lot more clear, and you're aiming higher. So I see, look at this, the Emperor. Talk about aiming higher. All right, you're calling in the real deal here. All right, you've had a long time to really kind of rebuild yourself with this Emperor energy, restructure your foundation, make a game plan. You're definitely looking at possibly changing. Even, like I said, you might see yourself more now as an entrepreneur, somebody here who can make more money, somebody here who can stand out more, somebody who feels more confident in themselves, somebody who's not afraid to build what they really want. Whereas maybe a year or 2 years ago, 5 years ago, you may not have seen yourself being able to create what you can create now. Or you may have been settling for situations or people that you felt safe with, but it wasn't really what you wanted. All right, so I am seeing that you've been under some restructure and now you're ready to move forward. So what is shifting? The Sun card. You have a lot of energy here. This is like house 5 for me. Romance, dating, joy, being creative. So you can see that this heavy weight that you've been carrying for so long has shifted in the bigger picture. All right, now this can be father-son energy. There could be a father-son coming into your life. There could be a parent-son. There could be creating a child, meeting somebody that you're meant to have a child with or build a family with. And it could be a puppy. It could be, furry children. But there is an energy here of beginning a family, all right, and finally having that foundation and the discipline and the responsibilities and ready for it and ready to create something new coming in, and ready to fall in love. So this is a chapter right now where new romance, and we're seeing an Empress show up, Aries energy, Leo energy, fire, right? And we're seeing, this energy of, wanting to express yourself differently, seeing yourself differently, and opening up to fall in love. But also somebody here could be entering into your life. You may meet this person, like I said, through a Queen of Swords if you haven't met them yet. But we're seeing stepping up and taking care of responsibilities. All right. So some of you could be parenthood. Somebody coming into your life that is a blended family as well. But new romance, falling in love, this is your season. All right. The energy here is moving more towards outside, having fun, in the sun, sexual energy, loving life, being in love with life again, and maybe even being in love with the idea of recreating or building upon something new for long term, right? It's like, I have some goals now. So what's coming in, and especially in love? You got 7 of Cups, and I see the Magician. So the lots of possibilities showing up right out the gate. It seems like you may be manifesting somebody in that you have been thinking about, somebody that you've been desiring, and also somebody maybe you thought wouldn't be interested in you. All right. Maybe you've put somebody on the pedestal and you're realizing that they're not. That's the Emperor energy. You're realizing, I don't put anybody on the pedestal. All right. We're all equals here. All right. So maybe lowering down somebody off the pedestal is you're bringing somebody in and you're realizing, I'm just as magical as they are, right? I'm just as good as they are. We're on the same page. We're in alignment. Nobody's better than you, in a sense like that. They might be better off in some ways, but you know what I'm saying. So you could be manifesting somebody in that you are putting way too high up on the pedestal, knock them down a little. But also you may be calling in somebody that you're like, oh my God, I this person is really out of my league, but why did I even think that? Pisces, like, stop thinking that. Stop thinking that if somebody's out of your league. That's a wound, right? Now, obviously there are facts, okay? I'm not going to walk out a trailer and expect a millionaire, those are in the movies, but and that's being kind of harsh, I know, but what I'm saying is, though, you just can't assume that everybody's out of your league. All right. You definitely know your place at times, but I am seeing here that somebody coming into your life that you might be saying to yourself, there's no way. And this person is a perfect match for you. All right. So make the magic happen, make it happen. I am seeing that you could be manifesting a lot of opportunities into your life, and you could meet several different people. All right. You could meet a lot of options, right? This is a dating scene for you. This is a chance for you to get out there and explore and see who's out there, because it's hot. You're on fire here. You're really giving off a good vibe, manifesting vibe with love. All right. So, someone may have feelings for you too, and they've been thinking about you, fantasizing about you, and maybe manifesting you in. This is that kind of energy too. And we're seeing here that somebody could be falling in love with you, that you're not, that you weren't even thinking. Somebody's, trying to get close to you. You didn't see it coming. This could be somebody that's a friend of yours, right? And so you're closer to love than you can even imagine. It feels like with the 3 of Wands. So for many of you, keep your options open and keep showing up every day. Just keep showing up as you are, because something about you, people are seeing you different, and you're giving off a very confident vibe, and you're manifesting in, it looks like a top shelf. All right. You manifest in top shelf. So how do you deal with this energy? 8 of Cups. What a big one. The 8 of Cups, walking away from anything uncertain, but also staying open and available to, the good stuff, possibilities, right, coming in, because you have the 7 of Cups, right? But you have to make a choice. If you're wasting your energy with people that are not being 100% receptive to you, right? Or you have options, but they don't truly fulfill you. Don't be afraid to walk away from certain people that are not fulfilling you, right? If you have something better coming your way, right? Or somebody may realize that they're letting the best thing walk away from them and you are top shelf, but this is where you're taking people off the pedestal, and you're going to realize that once you do that, they're going to see you, your worth, all right? You're making somebody think they're better than maybe they are. So letting down your guards and being always open and ready to move on from people, if they're not going to give you what, make you feel fulfilled or make you feel good enough for who you are. So you have the 8 of Cups here, which can be a big one. This is walking away and letting down your guards and not letting somebody who is unhealthy or a situation that has rejected you make you feel less than or afraid to open up to somebody new. All right. So let's take a look at Aries through Pisces, the person on your mind. You have Gemini, Virgo energy, you have Leo energy, Aries energy, but it could be anybody. So we'll see possibility of new love, and think about that sign that's on your mind. I'll get you a message. All right, Aries through Pisces. All right. So I have the 5 of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck. So somebody here, it can go 2 ways. Somebody, really feeling like it's safer to keep you at a distance, fear of rejection. And it also can be somebody who's been doing that to you. It just feels like, you're trying so hard. Why are you keeping me out in the cold? Why are you challenging me? And this is where you're making a choice that if somebody's just not going to open the door and it's better for you to move on, they'll miss you when you're gone. All right. So the 5 of Pentacles can also say that your person on your mind is also struggling with fear of rejection. They just feel like it's easier to keep you at a distance than for you to really see the real them or see what's going on behind the scenes if they're struggling with some sort of financial or health issue or just insecurity in general. But that could be changing right now. So let's see what's going on. Aries. I see an Aries is fallen for you. All right. You have the Sun card. Keep that in mind. This is fallen in love as well, too. And this is a chance for new Aries to come into your life. Maybe they are a little nervous about getting rejected or feeling rejected, or maybe you think you're going to be rejected by them. I am seeing here that they are fallen for you. Taurus. I'm seeing Ice Queen with a Taurus. All right. So it looks like they're stuck on their point of view, or they could be dealing with another situation, and that's why they're holding back. So you could have a situation with the Taurus where, we need to talk. Can we lighten things up? Try having a conversation where if neither of you are going to back down, can we agree to disagree? Because there could be another person trying to interfere with the relationship or saying something, and it could be a friend. It could be, maybe they have fears and exes let them down and they're afraid to open up their heart and be vulnerable. So there's a way to work with that energy. But again, there could be an external person, another person that is interfering. Gemini, I'm seeing a huge shift happening with a Gemini. Something in their life is working well, so they're feeling good and they're feeling called to maybe move forward or make improvements or adjustments in the relationship, or just adding somebody to their life. So this would be a good time for you and Gemini to connect together. You guys seem to work well together, or there's just a strong pull here where things could actually work. Or if you're already in a relationship or just connecting, things are working. So just keep letting them work and come together. Cancer, passion with Cancer. So Cancer had this could be a very good month with you and Cancer, Pisces. It just seems like your stars are in alignment and there's a lot of passion there. And even looking at the stars and the way that things are going right now, it does seem like you and Cancer just seem to really want something from each other, or want something. Leo, take time to rest and relax. Give it a little bit more time with you and a Leo. All right, breathe a little bit. Maybe you've just gone through something, or they have. Things will be fine. It feels like you guys just need a little bit of time to recoup. Virgo, you're fearing something and you might be putting them too much on a pedestal. All right, take your Virgo off a pedestal. You're creating fears that are not, they're your own triggers, your own fears. And so Virgo is going to reflect that back to you. You're making them bigger than they are. Libra, expect changes with a Libra, all right, from now to autumn even, where things will improve. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, all you guys seem to be in a really good energy. So it looks like you and Scorpio really connecting, feeling warm, feeling comfortable with each other, feeling motivated to express your feelings. Or maybe your feelings are just growing naturally and you don't really have to do anything when it comes to a Scorpio. Sagittarius, the wheels are turning. Here comes another cycle. You may, be deciding to close a cycle, end a cycle, or figure out what the hell the problem is, why we keep repeating something. All right, but you get another chance with a Sagittarius. Capricorn, needing a little bit more space, feels overwhelmed, maybe retreating from you a little bit. Again, these are like, I just need some space, give it a little bit more time before we react. Aquarius, messages coming in from an Aquarius. Pay attention to the signs, or the pull that you might be feeling. And Pisces, taking a chance. This is your time to take a chance, Pisces. Romance is really hot. House 5, being creative, luring people in through your energy. And, really having a good time and having fun right now is what I have for my Pisces. I love you guys. Thank you all for being here with me. And I will see you guys next. I'm trying to catch up with the things on membership. Thank you guys for being here. I always wanted to do a spiritual retreat or something like that. I was working towards that at one point, but I get overwhelmed too much with too much responsibility when things get too big, because when I make plans for things like that, it takes over. See you later, guys. Have fun. Take care.